y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the.
And welcome back, Sooner Soundwaves, episode 18 of this college football playoff season. Yes, that's correct. I said college football playoff. We approach Friday's matchup in Norman, Oklahoma against the Alabama Crimson Tide for the third time in about 14 months, gentlemen. We are in the college football playoff. We are in the week. We are within days of round one. Before we begin, thank you to all the subscribers, all the followers, all the likes, all the views, and especially to Mr. Charlie Moore for the comment on YouTube. We appreciate your input. Gentlemen, here we are, a rematch in this season against the Crimson Tide. What are your thoughts?
Hey, as I said last week, I'm excited to be able to get a Friday Night Lights game in the Palace on the Prairie. 7 o'clock kickoff time. You know, I was looking at the line. I think it moved a little bit. I think we were favored at first, and now it has Alabama at -1.5, which in terms of Brent Venables, we are hard to kill. So looking at that is just more stuff we can put in the locker room to get our players ready to go Friday. We got some key players coming back Friday that will benefit us on offense and defense. So some faces that we haven't seen since week 3. I think what R.B. Thompson came out. He came out with Tennessee, the first play. So he's been
one of the first quarter
of Tennessee, but he was practicing this week and is expected to play come Friday, which again it complements what we're already doing defensively on that side of the ball. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I think our players are ready to go for Friday. Some more, you know, if we want to look at some more bulletin board material. They came out with the All-American selection, and for us to have the best defense in the SEC and one of the top defenses in college football, and to not have a single player on that list, I am for sure those guys on the defensive side is pretty upset about not being recognized nationally. Not that we're playing for, you know, that recognition, but again, if we're putting in the work, let's get recognized for the work that we're putting in. It does tell me too. It also tells me that, you know, we don't have just one individual on our team that's a superstar. We have 11. So that's the message I'm hoping that Venables is pouring into his fellas and his guys to get ready for Friday. Looking for Friday. It was a close game. When we played them last, we won by 2 points. I think a big factor, which is going to have to be a big factor come Friday, will be turnovers. We had 3 in the previous game, and we must get some turnovers to flip the field to put ourselves in a position to where we can win. Alabama's coming in hungry. I mean, they're coming in upset. They're coming in mad. They've been beaten twice. But knowing that and knowing what this game means for us as we end out this year, they are coming in. They're excited, and we're probably gonna see, you know, the instant classic that last game. We're gonna probably see another classic game with OU winning on Friday. So that's what I have right now. I'll let you guys jump in. I want to talk a little bit about material, but I'll let you guys talk first about what you guys expect, and I wanted to circle back around on Mateer and what I see him do this Friday.
All right. Hey, thank you. So I know that if Ty Simpson is getting pressure, that's been talked about all week, right? If he is under pressure, he's pass percentage drops, completion rate, QBR drops exponentially. So I'm sure all week long, or however long Alabama has had, since that Georgia butt whipping, that they are focusing intently on that pressure aspect. Anytime he's blitzed, and so we're gonna have to get to him frequently once again and cause that issue that we had. You mentioned getting healthy. I think both of you guys last week mentioned that quite a bit, and that's been the big talk. Our Mason Thomas is by far I say by far, I got excited, but he is the best player for OU. So getting him back is huge, right? I mean, that's so critical. We're having him back. It's, at least looks like he's out there practicing. And I really hope, Goodfella, that you are going to be nice to John Mateer as we talk, because we love that guy. And he would never pull a Vandy Diego Pavier type of nasty tweet, didn't win the Heisman, and kind of throw that trash around. That's not the kind of guy he is. Him and Brent Venables are men who line up in a good upward focus and team oriented, and they would not do that type of thing. I realize he made a mistake. I think, in fact, this day and age, people kind of, what is it, rage tweet here and there, that's a shameful, I think, but nonetheless, they'll get on a little rage tweet. Hey, by the way, you guys were messing with me before we got on. You can hear me, correct?
Yeah, loud and clear. If we can't, it doesn't even matter.
Okay. I can hear you, okay. And we weren't messing with you. It was real.
Oh, all right.
The listeners can hear you too, St. Pablo.
Oh, we are live. I forgot about that. Live on YouTube Live right now. No, we'll be there here pretty quick though. So, but I love that the guys are our guys, our side of the football. John Mateer, you hear guys talk. They are team oriented. I like being this under the radar but lethal type of team. We talked about that a little bit earlier too. Everyone's overlooking OU, but we've sat there quietly. I love that part of this. I know we said this before. It does feel like deja vu, because we were going to Alabama and we talked about that revenge factor. What did we do to Alabama and Norman, a little over a year ago with Arnold Jackson, and we beat him up, man. I mean, just took it to him. And that was with, probably a better Alabama team. And then we get into this situation where it's like, okay, this year, revenge factor going into Alabama. I think some of that talk is, overdue, or is past due. Sorry. It's just none of that matters. If you can't handle the blitz and the pressure that OU is going to bring with intensity and the crowd intensity that will be there, and a better OU team that you're going to get in Norman this year. And if we can run the ball better, and if Alabama struggles running the football, I think that the Sooners decisively win this football game. And so that is just kind of my initial thoughts as we break it down, because no matter what all that other, fan talk per se is out there, it's going to come down to the fact that they're going to have to be able to handle these things. I do want to see the Sooner defense do a better job of that kind of mid to short intermediate passing game. They're going to have to clean that up, lock that up, because Alabama did a really good job in Tuscaloosa at being able to find those holes when we vacated. on the blitzes with the zones. But again, Brent Venables, I think Iceberg, you talked about this last week. He may have set the mold on how to pressure and defend Alabama. And so if you can, continue that pressure, knowing that gets to any quarterback, but, particularly it's really kind of rattled him as of recent. And then also, compensate for those gaps that are there once the blitz vacates the zone. It could be, I hope for a great night, Friday night in Norman. And I am so pumped right now. I cannot wait for this game to get here. It's going to be exciting and electric, and we're going to move on to the next round.
Yeah, I hope you're right. So some things from me. Obviously, and I've said it for 3 or 4 weeks now, the matchup scares me. I've posted and I've also said I'd rather play any of the other 11 other than Alabama. But I also think there are some things that go in our favor. And one of the things that keeps being talked about is OU hasn't had a great complete game yet where all 3 cylinders are firing at the same time when it comes to offense, defense, and special teams. As a matter of fact, in this gauntlet of the last 3 to 4 games, I can't even say weeks anymore, it's been the defense and the special teams that have really I don't want to say carried the offense, but gotten the victories, more than the offense. And so what excites me about that is my hope is the odds are with the offense. And I think our defense is good enough to where it can hold its own. And, I will predict a missed field goal by Tate Sandell just because I think his he's due, and his head is very large right now. But I hope I'm wrong. Here's what I think is going in our favor. And I've said this multiple times, but I really, we've shown that Johnny's and Joe's, Alabama is by far not superior to us in terms of athletes. And so if you were to tell me it was scheme versus scheme, give me OU. Okay. I'll take Venables' scheme over really anybody's scheme. And I did say that it seems like OU has written the script to defend the offense of Alabama. So I look for some wrinkles. I look for some different things. Obviously, we'll be ready for those trick plays that we're timing that we saw the first time we played them, where they looked like they were looking for the play and then they snapped it. And, we're going to prepare for that. But again, the other thing too is, the whole signal stealing thing. Supposedly you changed your signals for the game that we beat you for. I guess if you don't change them every week, well, now you've got to change them again. Okay. So there's that too. I would be surprised if they didn't change them every single week and aren't just making that a media thing. The other thing is preparation and experience. Okay. So one of the things that in my opinion, you keep hearing about Kalen DeBoer and his difference from Nick Saban is discipline and routine. And you heard it after the Florida State game, where he wasn't as structured as Nick Saban was in his preparation with the kids. Okay. They were warming up with headphones. They were a lot more loose than a Nick Saban team. Well, guess what, guys? If you've had a couple weeks since a game, you're probably a little bit more loose. I can guarantee you that's not the situation in Normal. There's a whole lot of structure, a whole lot of preparation. And while Kalen DeBoer has experience in the playoff with Washington, and I think Alabama made it last year, right? No. Okay. What he doesn't have is what Brent Venables has with Clemson. Okay. And those times when Clemson made the college football playoff, there was a longer stretch from the end of the season until the 4-team playoff that happened in January, if you recall. So my opinion on the preparation and the experience, that too falls in the favor of Oklahoma. Brent Venables has more experience with the preparation to get ready for a college football playoff game against a quality opponent. I like that. The other thing that I think falls in OU's favor is we hopefully will have up to game time 0 distractions. Can't say the same for Alabama. Alabama has had the distractions of the whole Michigan debacle, so much so that the university, the athletic director, and the head coach had to come out with 3 different statements about Kalen DeBoer's future. So as an 18 to 22-year-old kid, my coach is all over the news with where his next adventure could be headed to Michigan. We're getting ready for a college football playoff. That's a distraction. How invested is he in our program? And, oh, by the way, you didn't make a statement till the beginning of this week. That, I think, plays a little bit of a factor, too. Could be wishful thinking, but those 3 variables, if you will, are 3 variables outside of what's going to happen in between the 4 sidelines, the end zone and the sidelines on Friday night that I really feel like will be a factor. Our Mason Thomas has been practicing. The comment that Venables made in the press conference was, you'll see it in the injury report. They asked him if they planned, is there a plan for him to practice this week? Do you plan for our Mason Thomas to practice this week? He said, I do. That's all I'm going to say. You'll see it in the injury report. We'll see it when the first one drops. I predict they'll play the game with the questionable, doubtful, whatever. But one guy one defensive end isn't going to change the game. But I do like the fact that he comes in, he's going to be fresh. It's not going to be Taylor Wine every down or whoever the other backup was that gave Taylor Wine a break in the rotation. It makes our rotation stronger. And that's something that they didn't have to prepare for to the degree that they will have to in terms of our defensive line. So I don't like the matchup. I've said that over and over again. However, I also don't think Ty Simpson is as good as everybody thought he was before he and he had a great game against OU, but he didn't have any big plays. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's necessarily a game changer. And I'm going to knock on wood here, but I haven't seen Ryan Williams change a game this year like he did last year in terms of a standout wide receiver. So Alabama's going to Alabama. They're media wise, they're going to be out there and everything, but I don't know how good they actually are when it comes to facing quality opponents. Georgia really didn't struggle with them in the SEC championship game. It's odd that they struggled with them in the regular season. And I feel like it's not a good college football playoff, and the amount of time that you have off. They're lucky they play the SEC championship game, but it's not a good recipe for a coach that doesn't have superb discipline and structure on top of the potential distractions that they've had this week.
Yeah, I know. I'll piggyback on that. Their last performance against Georgia, it was pretty embarrassing in terms of Georgia could do whatever they wanted to do. 28-7. It could have been more than that. So their last performance wasn't effective. I think they had -3 rushing yards all game. So I'm not, and we're not Georgia, and I'm not, but right now I'm going into the game Saturday. I feel confident in what we're able to do out there on Friday.
Circle back, I think Alabama, to a couple things Iceberg was saying. Alabama, I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you.
They don't think that Ty Simpson is as good a quarterback as what he once was either, because I think there's a lot of pressure, coming there. And I know everyone says they don't hear this stuff, but they do. And then you mentioned to ask you both you guys, this question in regards to coaching. So I have a job. It's a pretty sweet job, but it's a high pressure job in Alabama if I'm Kalen DeBoer. And man, I'm taking some heat. And this game is a very much a serious must win type scenario. But I also have a job. If this job doesn't work out the way that this job might not, and what does that do in terms of my intensity? Does that have any effect? Because I tend to believe that it does. It's not a good position to be in. And it's all on those guys.
Solid point. They haven't named anybody yet.
Nope.
Everybody's just waiting to see how the chips fall. Because I guarantee you, if he loses a first-round playoff game, everybody's going to be calling for his head, just like they were when he lost to Florida State.
And you said the injury report hasn't come out yet, but I thought I saw that. This is interesting because I thought I saw that Alabama has multiple guys out on the defensive line, and that is difficult for this particular ball game because Alabama's defense is very solid. But if you are able to effectively run the quarterback a little better, running game a little better, Sooners can control and manage the game clock in a intense game as such. But what do you think, Goodfella? You think the coaching scenario is a thing here?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a thing. I mean, and I say that because they wouldn't put out statements if it wasn't, right? So there's definitely talk in the locker room, definitely talk in the community. It's a distraction. It's going to be a distraction. So yeah, I think it's something that they have to deal with, and we don't, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And what were you going to say about John Mateer? Did you?
Well, I'll just say this. Mr. Clutch, on Friday, I'm predicting that the scheme that they come up with, talking about how much time we had to prepare for this game, right? Enough time to where we're going to see the best game Mateer's played all season on Friday.
He's definitely due. He's definitely due for his best game. And I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Injury report comes out Tuesday night, 7 Central, I think, is the time when it's released. He mentioned some things in his DeBoer mentioned some things in his Monday afternoon press conference, but they were very speculative. Everybody's heading in a good direction. They're getting some work in, not really anything to nail down as a benchmark. So,
John Mateer, because I agree. John Mateer is likely healthier. He's practicing without, the little black bandage on the arm or hand. Sorry. So that's a good thing, I think. He did talk about, the hand and the gripping of the football and the throwing. And did you guys hear that?
No.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard he was practicing without any type of assistance with bandage or anything. So supposedly, like, he's healthier than he's ever been since the injury.
It's the first time I've heard him, because he's not an excuse type guy. So he's one of those guys that after he's healed up might, talk about it a little bit. He talked about it a little bit, how there were times when gripping the football felt different, that he's been getting an extra practice with the receivers. Probably been doing that all year, but he's been doing it more during this up to this game. And he's talking about how he's just getting the feel of it down. It just felt different kind of early on, and so it had an effect on him. He didn't say that, But again, he talked more about it. He was more open about the hand than he had been all year. So I appreciate that. But I think if he can get back to, I want to see what do you got to lose right now? Get back to running the football the way we used to run the football. I think you're going to see a lot of running out of John Mateer. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and I think the addition of Barnes being healthy, it's another layer of, we can use him and not burn his red shirt. So there'll be some packages that we see that's different than what we've seen in the past couple of weeks. But not only Mateer running the ball, we have to make sure that Alexander get the ball as well. So
I don't know. I don't know if we'll see, in my opinion, I don't know if we'll see any additional wrinkles. And I hope his grip on the ball allows him to read better, which is interesting to say. But, take what the defense gives you. And my hope is that he's more confident and he doesn't press. This would be a game in which somebody who's never been in this environment could potentially press. I hope he doesn't press and just takes what the defense gives him and has a great ball game. Just a couple things, and I mentioned this earlier in the week. OU was the first SEC team to beat Alabama at home since 2017. That was interesting. The other stat line.
Well, sadly, the other SEC. No, they weren't an SEC team, were they? When Texas did it?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, I was trying to remember who that was. Probably Georgia, right?
2017 probably would have been LSU.
Yeah.
Alabama hasn't lost to the same team twice in one season since 1893.
Wow.
And it's terrible. So hopefully that stat gets pummeled on Friday night. And yes, as the good fellow mentioned, I don't even remember who it was. It wasn't the Associated Press. Who came out with the list?
I would have to find out who came out with that list that I saw. I can't remember who came out with.
CBS Sports.
That's what it was.
Ranked the 25 best players in the college football playoff, and OU has 0 players listed.
None.
0. 25, and I need to search for CBS Sports to see if I can find a list, because I'm telling you right now, if they've got some mid-major, some group of 5 people on there, I mean, come on. It's all for media, though. It's all for media. Okay. And I feel like we're home dogs, right? Like we talk about road dogs. We're dogs at home, guys. Nobody expects OU to win. They have the third. So out of 12 teams, they have the third lowest odds to win the national title. So basically, that's not even true to their ranking. Okay. So nobody gives us a chance. Nobody gives us a chance in this first round. Nobody gives us a chance after the first round. We don't have any top 25 players, according to CBS Sports in the college football playoff. We're not favored to win by Las Vegas. What more do you need to come out and punch somebody in the mouth?
Man.
St. Pablo, what more do you need?
Nothing. I mean, like you said, the motivation is all there to win your first playoff game in the college football playoffs. It's all right there before you. I think that you guys have said this quite a few times throughout the season, and I try to wrap my head around it. I mean, it's face value, the statement that I'm gonna regurgitate that I've heard you guys say. It makes complete sense, but how do you internalize it as a team? I think is probably the part that I struggle with. So it's not about them; it's about us. And the offense has to take that motto really to heart, because it's, the offense has to be about, the offense and the improvements and the execution. And even though Alabama has a great defense, our defense, like you said, will do what our defense needs to do. But the side of that with the offense is that if we could improve enough this year, we got to the playoffs. Well, if we can prove a little bit more on the offense side of the ball, we can win a national title. With this caliber of a number one SEC defense, forget the stat, it's escaping me right now, but it's been a very long time since there's been a defense hold opponents to the average points that they would have held them to in, not this decade. It hasn't happened in the SEC. So if the offense can just notch it up, we're not asking for, light the world on fire, but just a bit more. Third down conversions, execute, convert those. Man, so I don't know. Is it fair for me to say that right now? It's not about them. It's about us. Can I steal your line? Is that
You
fair?
absolutely can. You can.
You didn't copyright it.
No. Okay, let's get into some score predictions for this game.
Ooh. Score
I
predictions.
believe the over-under is at 40.
41.5 right now.
41.
That's where it opened at. So 40.5 right now, I think. Who wants to go first?
I'm thinking.
I am going to go then, if you guys are still contemplating, and I'm going to go with 21-13 OU Sooners win this ball game. 21-13, and I will not accept, absolutely will not accept a Tate Sandell missed field goal. And God bless the guy. I thought he's been immensely humble. And he's the only last time a national award of such has been awarded to a OU football player in Norman. It's been a while, a little bit. Tyler Murray. So I won't even give him the chance. We'll wait for the next week where he just lights that field goal on fire. Boomer Sooner.
I will go 23-17. Alabama.
What did he say?
I don't know. Ouch.
You guys know how I roll.
Well,
I'm going for a loss here.
You're gonna get rolled up just like the Tide. That's how you roll. We're gonna roll you guys right out of Norman.
I'm gonna go oh man. I'm gonna go 20-17 OU. Man.
Okay. I hope, man.
Tough one.
Okay. All right. Those are the predictions. Moving on. Let's go to while we're on predictions, let's go ahead and talk about last week's locks of the week, which we did the Army-Navy game. Let's see here. Iceberg, which is me, and St. Pablo went with Navy as the favorite by 6. Goodfella went with Army with the 6 points. Turns out Goodfella comes in with the grand finale victory in the last game of the season, with Navy only winning by 1. So, yeah, Goodfella moves to finish at 6-11. Iceberg comes in at 11-6, and St. Pablo comes in at 8 and 9.
It's close.
All right.
Almost had you.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Last thing we'll do this week, let's talk about the college football playoff bracket in general. Let's go through each of our predictions round by round. Give me just 1 second here. Here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good deal. All right. So let's start with the top left. Goodfella, you predicting an OU win?
Yes, I am predicting an OU win the first round.
All right. St. Pablo.
Boomer
Yeah.
Sooner.
All right. And just because I like to lose, I will say Bama. Okay. James. It's terrible. James Madison and Oregon. Good fellow.
This is going to be a close one. Man, I'm about to go to Oregon.
St. Pablo.
He tried to create a little suspense with that. Yeah, that was nice. Even though Oregon, I think they've lost their coordinators both, right? Offense and defensive coordinators. Way too much talent, outmatched. Give me the Quack Pack.
Quack Pack.
Okay.
The Quack, yeah, the
Quack
Oregon Quackers.
I haven't heard that before. So
Right. Moving on. Let's go backwards. Okay. Ole Miss, Tulane. I will go with Ole Miss. St. Pablo.
Oh, the mighty Ole Miss. I tried to create suspense like the good fella, but it didn't work.
And Goodfella.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
All right.
Anticlimactic. I really thought you'd come in with a lead on that one.
Last game of the first round. Miami or A&M St. Pablo.
Give me as much as I don't like. So everyone on Sooner Sound Waves knows this. Give me the Aggies. Although the only time I like the Aggies is, well, no, I don't ever like them. Never mind. Sorry, Texas.
Okay. All right. Goodfella.
Close game. But I'm going with the Aggies to beat Miami.
Okay. And I will go with Miami. Okay.
Man, you are contrary now.
Contrary. All right. Let's go the second round. In your matchup, Goodfella, you have OU Indiana.
Boomer.
Okay. I like
You
your
beat
thinking.
Indiana.
St. Pablo.
Well, as mad respect as I have for that unique group of gentlemen in Hoosierville, they have had a fantastic run. But I love the Sooners to keep to that defense wins championships. And I don't think you've ever seen a defense like this. So I'm going to take the Sooners to beat Indiana 34-10.
Okay. A little premature there. Here's what I'll say about this game. If it were OU, I would say OU over Indiana. I would. I don't know. I just don't think Indiana is what everybody thinks they are. But I have Alabama, unfortunately, winning the first round, and I hope I'm as wrong as ever. I'm gonna take Indiana. Okay.
And in your bracket, that's Indiana over Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Second round in everybody's bracket. It's Texas Tech versus Oregon. I'm gonna go. I'll go Oregon here. I think Texas Tech is overrated. I think the Big 12 is as weak as it's ever been, and I think they're a joke. If I'm honest with you. So, Goodfella, Texas Tech or Oregon?
Oregon, the Quack Pack.
St. Pablo.
Yeah, this is where the Flying V Quack Pack defeating the Russians type scenario with the Mighty Ducks go down. They go down to the Red Raiders.
Okay, Texas Tech for
Texas
Like how you did that. I see what you did there.
Buffalo. Okay. Going here we go. Georgia, Ole Miss. Let's go with St. Pablo first.
Well, the beauty of being the Georgia Dogs is they get to be dogs no matter what happens. So give me the Dogs.
Georgia for St. Pablo. Goodfella.
Proof.
Georgia.
Dogs.
And I will agree and go Georgia. I think Ole Miss can beat Tulane, but I don't think they can beat Georgia. That brings us to the Ohio State game, which both of you have Ohio State, Texas A&M. I have Ohio State in Miami. I'll go Ohio State. St. Pablo.
I think I think I said I don't like Texas Aggies, but I'm going to ride them pretty far here. They will defeat the Buckeyes to move on.
Okay. Good fella.
Yeah, this is I have the Aggies beating Ohio State in this round.
I love that for the SEC. Okay. We'll move on to the semis. Let's see here. Both of you have OU versus
Oregon.
we're doing here. Okay, good fellow. You have OU versus Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Quack Pack.
Quack Pack.
OU gets beat by Oregon. The offense is just too much to control. Defense hold their own, but they get the edge.
Okay. And St. Pablo, you have OU versus Texas Tech. That's an interesting matchup.
What? You had Texas Tech getting that far?
Heck yeah, they're taking that. I gave you the whole Mighty Duck
Flying V
Flying
and the
V.
Russians,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the hell happened after the Russians, but
Yeah.
anyway, yes. OU Texas Tech, who you got?
Boomer Sooner.
Oh, God, I hope you're right. I have Indiana versus Oregon, which is a rematch, right? I'm going to go, good Lord. As much as I say that I don't believe in Indiana,
You're riding them all the way to the national title.
I'm going Oregon. Rematch, Dan Lanning, he's got this. Okay. On the other side, okay, I'll go first. Georgia, Ohio State. I'm going to go with Ohio State. Oh, criminy. That's terrible, just Iceberg. Okay, St. Pablo, Georgia versus A&M.
Let the dogs out.
Roof. And Goodfella, same question.
Same. Georgia over A&M. Dogs are coming.
Okay, so for the championship round, Goodfella, you have a matchup of Oregon versus Georgia.
The championship stays in the SEC. The Dogs win it all.
Transitions to the SEC. St. Pablo, OU, Georgia.
Hey, SEC's gonna win here, right? You know, it's Christmas time, and I'll tell you a Christmas story about magic. Gather around, children. Hold close to your YouTube-friendly, kid-friendly favorite Sooner channel. It's Grandpa Miller or Pablo, St. Pablo. And listen, I believe in Sooner magic, and I've seen it in action. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's as real, more real than the North Pole. Wait, the North Pole is real. But anyways, what I'm saying is the Sooners are going to win. They're going to defeat Georgia in one of the classic, all-time classic national title games to come out of nowhere with a defense that just lights the world on fire and brings home a national title this year before Grandpa Miller dies. So Pablo, I don't know, see senile.
Oh, you know what, St. Pablo, I hope you are just as wrong as you were when you predicted the Sooners to go 10-2, which you weren't. So
Hallelujah.
I hope that your prediction of this college football playoff is much better than your locks of the week. Okay. All right. And what an idiot I am to put two Big Ten teams in the championship with Oregon versus Ohio State. I mean, I'm just going to go with Oregon. I thought Oregon had a superior team at the beginning of the year before they got beat by Indiana the same week of the Red River Shootout or Red River rivalry, whatever we're going to call it. And they took a loss there, but I think they got some great athletes. And unfortunately, since I chose the trajectory I did, I'm going to have to go with Oregon. So three different national champions. Say that again, good fellow.
I said Quack Pack wins.
Quack Pack wins. Quack Pack wins. Okay. OU will host Alabama in our first berth of a college football playoff since we faced Georgia. Was that was the Rose Bowl, wasn't it? Right? Was it the Rose Bowl?
For which one?
Yeah,
when we faced Georgia in the college football playoff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dominated the first half. Watched the Riley defense allow Georgia to do what they needed to do the second half, go into overtime. So at $100 to bet on the Sooners to win a national title,
What's the
plus 5,000 odds.
wow?
Are you betting?
I was mentioning earlier that we gathered the children around, so we can talk about that off air.
Oh, okay.
That's a smart guy.
All right, gentlemen. My hope is that we do not conclude Sooner Sound Waves for this season next week. My hope is that we are speaking about. Oh, we're going to continue on through the playoffs no matter if OU's in it or not?
I don't know. You guys want to? Or do our fans want us to keep on going?
We can do that.
We got to hear from our fans.
Give us a comment Let us know if you'd like for us to keep predicting or keep analyzing games through the college football playoff. My hope is that it's not in our hands and OU punches Alabama in the mouth on Friday night, and we are talking about Indiana next week.
Hey,
Right,
at the
Sam?
very least, though, we should, no matter what happens, revisit the game to at the very least have one more week.
We'll have a podcast next week. I hope next week's podcast isn't the last one.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Sorry if I misspoke. Absolutely, we're talking.
No, I misheard.
You misheard because you have issues.
Hearing aid. Yes.
It's okay.
St. Pablo, bring up the conclusion.
Coming your way. This episode has been brought to you by the T-shirt factory. What was the name again?
Laquitas. You're gonna make me forget now. You put me on the spot.
Creations.
Laquita
Creations.
Yes.
OU versus Bama, Friday night, December 19th, 7 p.m. That'll do it for episode. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. We love our viewers. We love our listeners.
Here comes the
Boomer.
Here comes the
Sooner.
Y'all don't really want it like that.
Texas sucks, and their fans would want us to come back and follow up on the Cheez-It Bowl.